Have you ever promised yourself you'll change, only to find yourself doing the same old things tomorrow and the next day and the day after that? You dream of success, of a better life, but somehow, every morning you choose comfort over action. This is the story of a young blacksmith who felt exactly like you, until one day, everything changed. Once upon a time, in a peaceful little village surrounded by green hills, sparkling rivers, and fields of golden wheat, there lived a young blacksmith named Ethan. He was strong, clever, and skilled with the hammer and anvil. The villagers admired his talent and often said Ethan could make the finest swords and tools in the entire land. But Ethan had a problem. He was lazy. He dreamed of greatness, but never took action. Every morning he would wake up slowly, sip his tea, and watch the clouds drift lazily across the sky. "I will start my work tomorrow, or maybe next week," he would tell himself. And so, day after day, his dreams stayed just that, dreams. Ethan's workshop was full of shining iron, heavy hammers, and half-forged tools. Orders piled up, plows for the farmers, swords for the guards, and repairs for the villagers, all waiting for Ethan's skill. Yet he delayed, thinking, "I will do it when I feel ready." Some days he would sit by the river, watching the water flow, imagining the applause he would get if only he worked. He pictured himself as a great blacksmith, respected and admired. But as the sun dipped lower, he always returned to the workshop empty-handed, telling himself, "Tomorrow I will start for sure." One bright morning, Ethan's best friend, Daniel, a hard-working farmer, came to him. "Ethan," Daniel said kindly, "why do you always wait? You are so talented. If you finished your work, you could make everyone happy and yourself too." Ethan shrugged lazily. "I will do it when I feel like it," he replied. Daniel's face fell. "You are wasting your gift," he said. "One day you will regret it. Dreams are nothing without action." Ethan smiled nervously, but deep inside he felt a sting of guilt. He wanted to be better. He wanted to shine. But fear of effort and discomfort held him back. Still, he returned to daydreaming, thinking laziness was harmless. Weeks passed. The villagers grew impatient. Farmers grumbled about late plows. Guards complained about delayed swords. Even children whispered, "Why doesn't Ethan finish his work?" One day, the village chief himself came to Ethan's workshop. "Ethan," he said firmly, "your laziness is harming the village. Your tools are late. Farmers cannot work. If you do not change, you will lose your place here." Ethan's heart sank. For the first time, he realized that his dreams meant nothing if he could not even finish a single project. That night, he sat alone by a half-forged sword. The moonlight reflected on the cold iron, and he whispered to himself, "I want to be great, but I cannot even force myself to work." The next morning, a stranger arrived in the village. He was an old blacksmith named Samuel, known far and wide for his skill and wisdom. Samuel had heard of Ethan's talent and decided to visit him. "Ethan," Samuel said kindly, "I see your talent, but talent alone will not make you great. Do you know the secret?" Ethan shook his head eagerly. Samuel smiled. "The secret is simple. You must force yourself to work even when you do not feel like it. Discipline is like iron. You must hammer it every day, even when your hands ache. Only then does it become strong." He leaned closer. "Start with small steps. Work for just 5 minutes. Then 10, then an hour. Show up every day. Motivation comes and goes, but action will always carry you forward. Ethan decided to try. The first day, he lifted the hammer with heavy arms. His hands ached. He felt sleepy. He wanted to stop. But he remembered Samuel's words. He worked for 5 minutes, then 10, then 30. By sunset, a small plow was completed. The next day was harder. He wanted to rest, to watch the clouds, to do nothing. But a small voice inside said, "Today I will show up no matter how I feel." Slowly, Ethan began to notice small victories. The first sword he polished gleamed brighter than he had imagined. A farmer smiled genuinely when Ethan handed him a plow, and even the children stopped whispering and cheered quietly when they saw him working. Days turned into weeks. Each morning Ethan struggled, but he forced himself to lift the hammer. Each evening he saw a little progress, a sword finished, a plow repaired, a tool polished. Momentum grew, and with each success his heart lifted. The man who once wasted his mornings was slowly becoming someone the village could depend on. Months later, Ethan's workshop was full of finished tools, shining swords and sturdy plows. Villagers came from far and wide to see his work. Orders poured in. Finally, Ethan's skill matched his discipline. One evening, Samuel visited again. "Look at your work," he said. "Do you see the difference?" Ethan smiled proudly. "Yes," he said. "It was not easy. Some days I wanted to quit. Some days I hated the work. But I forced myself. And now I feel alive, strong, and proud. I feel like the man I always wanted to be." Samuel nodded. That is the power of discipline. Motivation comes and goes. Desire comes and goes. But action, consistent action, will always carry you forward. Never wait for feelings. Be the person who works even when it's hard. That is how greatness is born. Ethan learned a lesson that changed his life forever. You are not lazy or weak. You just need to force yourself, one small step at a time. Action builds momentum. Discipline builds character. And character builds a life worth living. From that day on, Ethan became a symbol in the village, not just for his skill, but for his courage to fight his own laziness. People still tell his story today, reminding everyone that the road to greatness is never easy, but it is always possible. If you loved this story and want more tales that inspire, motivate, and show you the path to a better life, then hit subscribe to the Tales with English channel. Every story you